So if you were a fly on the wall during one of my one-on-one ADHD coaching sessions, you're going to see me do two things every session. The first thing is going to be a student self check-in. So this is an opportunity for the student to notice an emotion that has been coming up throughout the day. It's going to allow for them to draw connections to their emotions, their body, and then practice some self-regulation tools if that's what's needed at the moment. So a student might even draw the connection that they haven't eaten anything since 7 a.m. that morning for breakfast. During lunch, they got super hyper-focused on a project and skipped lunch altogether and didn't really think about anything to eat until now when it's 4 o'clock. And they might draw on how not eating impact their afternoon. So you might even hear a student draw some correlations between feeling really frustrated that afternoon or during the day and how much they slept the night before or how much they didn't sleep the night before. They might even draw some conclusions between upcoming events like big tests, big projects, to some feelings of anxiousness. So this is all an opportunity for the student to draw some, to notice how they're navigating throughout their day and throughout their week and how other things may influence how they're navigating through that and their mindset. The second thing that you're going to see us do is this practice of celebrating wins. And so this is something that you can actually do with your student between sessions or even before you start coaching with me. So we'll list 5 to 10 wins, and traditionally wins are something that we've accomplished or achieved, like an A on a test or winning a soccer game or scoring that, winning goal. So I want to remind students every session that it's not just the things that they've accomplished. We've expanded that definition more into something that they've noticed or recognized or became aware of in their own actions or maybe in actions of others. We're also counting a win as something that was challenging for them and something they've persevered through. Maybe a mistake that they made and that they're learning from, or maybe even a connection or positive experience that they had with a peer or an adult. Maybe they got to sit next to a friend for lunch and they had a really great time with that. Or maybe they stayed after class and had a conversation with their teacher and really enjoyed that conversation. So the job of the listener of these wins is to practice active listening. Active listening and not active fixing. A student may ask for some feedback on a scenario. I might ask them if they want some feedback on that scenario. I might ask that, sometimes it is me hearing them, acknowledging their wins, and we don't go into a whole story about each one of the wins. And that is really powerful in and of itself. I think that students often go to adults thinking that they're going to just fix everything, and that really takes away to their own self-agency. And I think that in the same breath too, they know that when they go to adults, they're just going to want to fix things. And it's about the student figuring out that scenario with guidance on how they can best navigate that scenario. Because you're not going to go in and, solve that situation that's going on with a friend group by being the parent. The child has to navigate that situation by practicing their self-confidence and their practicing using their voice. So we might use that as a jumping off point into topics that we're going to discuss throughout this session, or I might see that something on this list of wins is related to a topic that we discussed in the previous session. So we might draw some connections there, or there might be a takeaway that they've had from listing those wins out. It really is. It can kind of change throughout the week as these wins are obviously so specific to the student and what they need at that moment and their personality, of course. So in acknowledgement of these wins, we're boosting positive emotions. We are priming them for continued progress. We are modeling, this is so important, we're modeling the self-talk that's necessary for building resilience. And that right there is just, that's amazing. We're also building the growth mindset and the gratitude practice that is just necessary for these learners and especially these ADHDers. My students in my one-on-one coaching program actually practice this throughout the week, celebrating their wins daily, and they're primed throughout the week before I see them to recognize what's going on throughout their day so they can come and share that with me during our check-ins. If you have a student with ADHD, I want you to check out the ADHD coaching program overview video that I have on YouTube. We combine strategies and celebration all into one.